So I apologize. This video, Vancouver versus New York, if you're tuning into the channel, you might be wondering, what the hell happened here? Why did this post-game video come out 2 hours late? It's because I'm an idiot. I'm a total stupid idiot, and I forgot to press public on this video before I went off to play ball hockey at the community center. So I am totally pissed off at myself for that. I even commented on the video over here that I accidentally forgot to press the public button on this video. Stop, I don't want to listen to myself. Pause the video, come on. So yeah, I apologize. Anyways, let's get to the main reason why you clicked on this video. Even though I'm going out here and uploading 2 things back to back because whoop-de-doo, I'm stupid. Let's talk about Phillip Danault from the LA Kings getting traded over to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 2026 second-round pick. This happened an hour ago, which means that it happened before the NHL's trade freeze. Montreal getting a second, third, if you really wanted to say that, line center for their squad, and it happens to be a name that they are quite familiar with. The LA Kings are receiving a second-round pick in 2026. Obviously, this doesn't really hurt the Montreal Canadiens that much. They've had a bunch of draft picks over the years. They've made a bunch of really nice selections with those seconds and thirds and firsts, of course. Montreal has gone through this rebuild state, accruing draft picks, accruing value, accruing younger guys. And now the team's competitive. They're literally one of the top teams in the Atlantic, so going out there and getting a center like Phillip Danault, a fan favorite from years past, is obviously going to bring a pretty big pop for fans of the organization. Montreal Canadiens GM Kent Hughes announced on Friday that the team has acquired forward Phillip Danault from the LA Kings in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026, previously acquired from the Columbus Blue Jackets. If I recall correctly, is this the Patrik Laine trade return with Jordan Harris and whatnot? We'll be able to figure that out later. Danault, 32 years old, tallied 5 assists in 30 games this season with the LA Kings. The Victoriaville, Quebec native registered his second highest point total in his NHL career with the Montreal Canadiens in 2018-19. This will mark his second stint in Montreal, as the forward played for the Habs from 2015 to 2021. Danault was drafted in the first round by the Chicago Blackhawks in the 2011 NHL Entry Draft. So honestly, when it comes to Phillip Danault, we don't really need to dive too deeply into everything that he is and was with the Montreal Canadiens. This is because we've already made a bunch of videos. Literally yesterday, we spoke out about Danault potentially going over to Montreal. And then a few days earlier, it was Frank Saravalli who spoke about Phillip Danault being a target of Vancouver's and Montreal. It was Danault, Montreal, and now the guy's officially traded to Montreal, courtesy of Kent Hughes and, who is it, Kenny Holland over there doing their business with the LA Kings? Now, we had ourselves some extra details over here from the folks on Twitter. Let's just go up and read what some of the other folks are talking about. Okay, the Blue Jackets acquired Mason Marchment. I'm sorry, but I do not care about that trade. I'm just going to go out there and talk about Danault because this really does pique my interest. Trade talks got serious in the last 2 to 3 days between the Canadiens and the Kings on Phillip Danault. It was a pretty quick process, all things considered. Now, I'll also go out there and say it is quite interesting to me that Danault ended up getting shipped for not a Jake Evans or a Kirby Dach. It was just a second-round pick. If I had to wager just my personal evaluation of assets in the Montreal Canadiens, I'd probably say that Evans and Dach, even if Dach is hurt, these guys are more valuable than a second-round pick by itself. And so for Montreal to essentially flip that second, which let's just go out there and try to verify here, was that second-round pick from Columbus the pick acquired in the Patrik Laine trade? Yeah, it was. Patrik Laine and a second-round pick for Jordan Harris. So Montreal essentially traded Jordan Harris, who is a player in a position of surplus on the team, in exchange for a little bit of Patrik Laine, who didn't spend too much time with the team, and then Phillip Danault as well, who is on the books till 2027, making $5.5 million a year. Now, let's be clear, that's not particularly cheap. Maybe in the rising cap environment you can say it's not that bad, but at the same time, if Phillip Danault was going to come in and play second-line center, that's not the worst thing in the world to have a guy in your top 6 making $5.5 million. He might not necessarily go out there and replicate his 51-point campaign or his 53-point campaign that he had at several points throughout his career, but Phillip Danault is a guy who can provide very, very effective middle 6 hockey, who can be a PK beast. I get it. His entire shtick was that he wanted to go to a place where he wouldn't just be relied upon as that penalty-killing, defensively-minded guy. But hey, he was able to round out his offensive game a little bit with Montreal, too. It's just he wanted a little bit of a bigger role in LA or whichever other team was going to give him that money. It happened to be the Kings. He had 43 points in 80 games last year. This season, he's only got 5 points in 30 games. He ended up missing out in the past few games of the Kings with a flu, quote-unquote, and there was some speculation amongst Kings fans on if this guy really was sick, or he was like, oh, right, I'm still sick, I don't want to play, I can't play, or if he was holding out waiting for a trade, which, of course, the agent Alan Walsh kind of insinuated might not have been the case, although now it's like, hey, he actually did get traded. So maybe there was some truth to that, unfortunately. There was even more buzz from insiders talking about the Phillip Danault trade. I mean, fans are going out there and replying with some pretty funny images, I would say. I think a lot of fans are just happy to see Phillip Danault back and to see a legitimate center come into the fold. Sorry, Oliver Kapanen. No shade to you, but Phillip Danault, if you want some stability in the middle to bottom 6, this guy provides loads of it. I question whether or not he will be okay with getting a role that is technically under Nick Suzuki and maybe even under Kapanen if you wanted to stretch it. But at the end of the day, Phillip Danault was beloved in Montreal. His shutdown tendencies and his capability at center was very much valued as the team went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Even though he only had 4 points in 22 games, he was a very valuable piece of that Montreal Canadiens team. And you can see that just from the minutes. Yeah. Who cares if he had 4 points throughout the entire playoff run? He was playing 23 minutes a game some nights. That's unheard of for a center that's just tasked with a defensively minded role. Phillip Danault was a monster, and now he's going to be hopefully showcasing those same things off with Montreal. Cap space is going to be a little bit of an issue for next year because the Habs have an extra $5.5 million coming onto their books till 2027. But if you take a look at the cap space the team has next year, they have about, what is the number here? Is it 13 million in cap space the next year? Where is the cap projections? That's what it is. Yeah, $13 million in cap space next year. They have to re-sign a bunch of guys. They have to re-sign these RFAs. Kirby Dach, Texier, Veleno, Bolduc, Davidson, Arbor Xhekaj. We'll see where the Canadiens decide to take their money. Patrik Laine is an expiring UFA, but no, I don't think that guy's going to come back, unfortunately. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Phillip Danault is a Montreal Canadien once again. Again, I apologize for uploading the Vancouver, New York postgame video so late. I tried to get it up right after the game ended, and I was successful. I recorded the video. But YouTube takes extra time to verify if a video is advertiser friendly, which means doing a whole bunch of checks, and you've seen the checks on the YouTube channel before, like, oh, checking, 75% complete, whatever. And while I was doing other chores, I left the checks on. I totally forgot to press public. This video was ready 2 hours ago, but I wasn't able to press public because I am an idiot, absolute idiot. And I needed to go to the community center to play ball hockey. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Phillip Danault. I'm back. I'm still sweaty. I played and now I need to take a shower. Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.